.5 Kemet FM. With the expensive Christmas leaving us a little strapped for cash this January, everyone is looking for ways to save money. Perhaps a good place to start is looking at household bills. The average UK household overpays on their energy bills by £300, and for larger households this is between £700 and £800. That's a lot of money. To combat this, the government, they're introducing a price cap on energy bills. But how will this work? Well, joining us on the line is the founder of Migrate.co.uk, George Chalmers. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Christine.
I imagine that this is a bone of contention in many households.
Absolutely.
So can you start by telling us how many households in this area do you reckon are overpaying on their energy bills?
Yeah, of course, we've done a lot of research on this particular topic, and the average household in Nottingham is overspending on their energy by about £207 every single year. And what that is, that's effectively money that they're putting into the pockets of big energy companies completely unnecessarily. So by overpaying, what we mean is the amount that average household in Nottingham could save just by taking a few minutes to switch their provider. It's something that people ought to be doing, given how suppliers price their tariffs, but it's something that too few people are, which is a shame, given the amount of savings for normal people.
Yeah, I was just thinking, you go on a little weekend break on that. You can
Well,
have
exactly.
a little treat
Yeah.
for yourself in some way, new pair of shoes or whatever. So why don't we switch? Because over the last few years we've been told switch. Why are we not doing that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. As you can imagine, I talk to a lot of people about energy switching. And most of the time when I'm stood with someone and I'm telling them that they ought to be switching their provider, I get a little nervous smile and a grimace because, as you say, they know they should be switching, but they just never get around to doing it. I'm always told that, I should have, I know that I should, I just haven't got around to it. People think it's a bit of a hassle, which it is. People think it's a bit boring, which again, it is. It's energy bills, and it can be a bit complicated. There's a fair bit of jargon out there. But ultimately, it's a process that can take a few minutes. It can save you, as you said, it can save you a holiday. It can save you a break. But people just don't do it.
Yeah. Do you think that some people don't do it because they think that people do this online? Do you know what I mean? You just do it online. If you're not somebody who's online, then it's not open to you.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there. I think people think that you need to be a little bit more technologically savvy than is actually the case. Yeah. It's a really straightforward process in reality. And there's a lot of guidance around doing it as well.
So tell me more about the government tariff cap. How does that work?
Well, yeah, the government tariff cap is effectively the government's little idea, their initiative to try and help out with this fact that, too many people are being ripped off for their energy bills, which is good. Which anything to help solve that problem is a good thing. But what it actually means in practice is that it's limiting or capping the amount that an average household would pay for a unit of energy. So it doesn't cap your total bill. If you're someone that likes to have all the appliances on, have the heating up high, it's not going to cap your bill. It's just going to cap the rate for a unit. And that's a little bit important because people do get a bit confused about that. And ultimately, this isn't going to benefit everybody. It's only going to help out households that are on what we call a standard variable tariff. And that's one of the expensive or default tariffs. Actually, most of the country are on these tariffs. Most of the country don't realise they're on these tariffs. But that's the situation that we're in at the moment. 60 to 70% of people are on these really expensive tariffs. So what the cap means is that on average, their bills will be brought down by about £70 a year, which is good. What we're trying to say, and the important point is that you shouldn't be lulled into a false sense of security with the tariff cap, that you don't need to do anything anymore. Because those same households that are on these expensive tariffs could save over £200 just by switching to a cheaper provider. So the cap helps, but if you really want to save and not get ripped off, then you should be switching.
You see, you've lost me already. So first of all, we've got to look at what tariff we're on, and most of us are on the most expensive tariff, you're saying?
Well, if you haven't switched your provider in the last 12 months, then you will be on one of the expensive standard or default tariffs.
Right.
You're effectively being, the shame with this industry is that they effectively penalise you for your loyalty. So the good deals are only available to new customers,
Yeah.
and then that's subsidised by the fact that their existing customers are paying much higher rates.
Okay. So we need to look at what tariff we're on and also how to cap that.
Well, what you need to look at if you want to switch is you really don't really need to know very much at all with a site like our own, because
Yeah.
we can find out all of that information for you. You just really need to know who your current supplier is, and then in a space of a couple of minutes, we can show you how much you can save.
Okay. So that's good. So that kind of takes the the stress out of the whole thing.
Yeah, well, we hope so. Like as we mentioned, it's one of the issues that people don't switch is that it is a bit stressful. I used to do this for my parents and for my grandparents and for my aunts and uncles, because people themselves aren't really too confident with the process, and people think that things can go wrong. That's why we've built our technology, which does all of that on your behalf, and it does it for free, and then you don't have to worry about it again. So every year, just before you're potentially about to get, your bills are about to go up, we'll just seamlessly switch you to the new cheapest provider.
So is that how you started your company then, by doing it for your family, and then?
Yeah, exactly that. I would always switch myself. I was a student, and I needed every penny I could get. And then when I would go home, I'd be inquiring with my parents, have you done it? And then I started to do it for them. And then I started to do it for my grandparents, for my aunts and uncles. And then I thought, well, you know what? Everyone was so shocked with how much money I'd saved them in the space of about 5 minutes. There must be so much of the country that isn't, so many people in the country that aren't doing this. How can I sort of replicate what I do for my family, but on a much larger scale? And that's where we developed the technology that could do that far more effectively than I ever could.
Okay, so you're everyone's best friend then?
Well, I hope so.
All right then, best practice for our listeners.
Say that again, sorry?
Best practice for our listeners?
Well, the best practice is just to switch your energy provider every year, effectively. If you go over a year, then the likelihood is that you're going to be put onto a much higher rate. The good thing about a service like our own is that you don't actually have to do that yourself. So I would say the best practice would be to sign up to migrate.co.uk. It's completely free. For anyone that does sign up, we are also donating £10 to local grassroots projects and local causes. We want to improve the way that the energy industry is giving back, given they've been ripping people off for so many years. So the best practice is either do it yourself, stay on top of everything and switch regularly, or join a site like our own, which will do it on your behalf.
Okay. We've just had somebody email us with a question. What if you have a smart meter? Is it easy to switch?
Yeah, it's still completely easy to switch. There really is no issue. So no, nothing will prevent you from switching. If you've got a smart meter, the new supplier will just take on the supply.
Okay. So where can our listeners find more information?
So best place is our website, which is migrate.co.uk. You'll be able to see how much you can save in a couple of minutes. You'll be seeing how much you currently overpay, and you can sign up if you want in the space of 2 to 3 minutes. There's also some helpful guides, and we'll have our sort of customer services people on there, and you can speak to them on the phone if that helps, and they should be there to sort of help any questions.
Lovely. Founder of migrate.co.uk, George Chalmers, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
97.5 Kemet FM.